Looking back on the to 2005, when the Extended Services programme really started, I think it's fair to say no one had any idea of how it would evolve and become what it is today. It's fair to say that when I was asked to lead on this programme, it was funding through the Big Lottery Fund, and we thought that was it. But where the Big Lottery Fund was something like £100,000, behind that sat another £600,000, which was to involve and engage with all schools in Sutton and their partners to deliver a full core offer of extended services.
So extended schools and extended services work supports the primary purpose of schools, which is getting better academic outcomes and achievement for pupils in several ways. Some of it's very direct, obviously through homework clubs and study support work. That's an obvious connection. But also extended schools work supports because it increases pupils' interest in and attachment to school. So they're coming in for other types of activities. It breaks down the barriers between outside school and inside school, and that's been shown to have a positive effect on their actual involvement and engagement in school. And similarly, all of the work that extended services do with parents also helps to break down barriers. Parents start to come into school buildings to do other things in a way that they've never done before.
I think for some schools it was quite a pivotal moment because you come out of your own little silo and sort of step into your community much more and see the broader links. And also I think it really supports community cohesion, which became a duty for governing bodies some years ago, and it's made that real and hopefully built bridges that will continue.
We were unsure, A, what sort of clubs the children wanted, and B, who was going to access them. We created a questionnaire to find out what it was the children wanted, and from that I sought providers and we offered a range of creative and sports clubs.
Part of the initial programme through the extended schools meant that we got involved in all the kind of development activities and workshops with the schools. So we actually got to meet the people at the schools who were looking at developing the extended schools programme, which was really good for us because they could find out what we were doing, we could find out what their needs were and develop our activities accordingly. So it also built up a good sort of contacts list of people for us to keep in contact with ever since. It also meant that we actually developed systems that we wouldn't have done otherwise. So for example, all the paperwork that you have to do if you're running an after school club and you're responsible for the children, whereas before we'd only delivered things with teachers present or with parents present. So it meant that we actually sort of improved our systems so that we could deliver more things in the future as well.
I was asked to work with the teachers and other staff looking at how health can impact on young people's learning, their concentration levels, their self-esteem. And so I brought to the table lots and lots of data around people's obesity levels, the preschool meals, but it's very easy just to look at that data and not actually look at the children that may be just above that but are still very, very vulnerable. So it's how we can make sure that the opportunities that extended services provide can pick up those children as well. They may be just struggling a little bit with their learning, and so an example that was set up was the Playing for Success, where children learnt lots and lots of football skills, learnt to negotiate, learnt to work together, but also the add-on in maybe a different environment was they then looked at their literacy and their numeracy as well.
Building on the success of last year, we've provided 135 courses with 2,000 places for young people. Among the activities that young people have been taking part in range from carpentry to vocal skills, archery to massage therapy, skiing to animal care, web page design to hat making, to name a few.
Fantastic, absolutely just brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. It's kept us busy for a week as well, so we're more than happy.
It's really good. It's the first time we've been involved in it, and I think it's brilliant. We are going to do it again next year, yeah. I'll make sure I get in early.
I'll certainly look into more for next year.
I mean, this last 3 weeks they've been on quite a few things with Summer Uni, and it's kept them motivated, you know, creative, instead of sitting around doing nothing.
My involvement with Extended Schools has very much been around promoting the parenting service to schools as part of the core offer, and that's led to quite an increase in referrals too, which has been fantastic to get the right parents onto the right parenting programmes at the right time for them. We've also seen an increase in the referrals to the Children and Young People's Integrated Support Panel, where we've been able to offer really good integrated packages of support for those children and families to ensure they get the right support to help them to move forward and to stop them hopefully going into social care and to other specialist services.
I've been really pleased with the engagement that Extended Services have had with the Disability Partnership over the last few years, and particularly over the last 3 years while we've had the Aiming High for Disabled Children programme. And I think back over the last few years to how things have changed for disabled children in terms of their access to out-of-school activities. I think it's been absolutely tremendous the progress has been made. We have many examples of much better inclusion of disabled children in activities, much better choice available to them, and a huge range of options that couldn't be considered a few years ago.
A few years ago there was a new initiative, the Extended Schools, which eventually became Extended Services. And Martin and I were invited to go along to a presentation, and if I'm honest with you, I thought it's one of those initiatives where let's go along, let's tick the box. But when we listened to Pat Lancaster and her colleagues explaining what they were trying to do, I thought we could really buy into this. And for us, it's been a great few years. The relationship has been very good with Pat and her colleagues in the borough, and it's enabled us to move our school quite a bit further forward. For instance, our entrance lobby was quite small, not very welcoming, and the money was used to double the space of our entrance lobby to provide facilities for parents to come in and look at leaflets, both leaflets for services in the borough as well as any voluntary organisations. We also have a book that the parents can look through, and as well as that, we're fortunate enough to obtain funding for a large screen monitor which faces out into the area where the parents congregate when they bring their children to school, as well as a smaller monitor inside. It enables us to provide a lot of information, as well as where we can't provide something, to signpost to other organisations that can.
My name is Martin Midgley. I'm the head teacher at Carew Manor Special School in Beddington. We have a range of clubs at school, which includes things like a bells group and a netball club and a film club. At the moment, a lot of these are run through the goodwill of staff, and we would like to expand them and encourage more youngsters to come. The Extended Services opportunities hopefully will make that more possible, but also allow us to get youngsters involved in activities run by other organisations across the borough.
I've always been benefited from extended services at Robin Hood Infants and with our after school clubs, etc. But since federating with Thomas Wall Nursery, that's when I've really been able to reap the benefits. First of all, we've opened a children's centre on site at Thomas Wall, and we've also got extended care at Thomas Wall, and we've got lots of facilities for our special needs unit called Dragonflies. Good examples of this are the joint working that we do with the Children's Centre. The children who are going to come into the nursery and the children who are going to come into the reception classes in September, they are offered a summer holiday club in the Children's Centre, which really benefits them enormously, considering that we get lots of children from different provisions coming together.
Through extended services, our pupils at Sherwood Park School between 2.5 to 19 have been able to do some amazing things. Looking at them having such fun playing basketball after school with the sports coach Tony, looking at other students doing their dance in school. We've been able to run cycling clubs, to see the enjoyment on their faces and the skills they have developed and the friendships is great. We're just hoping in these times of financial difficulties we can sustain all these brilliant activities and even build upon them from the future. So key will be funding for transport and making sure we've got staff who can support our youngsters as well as specialist coaches.
Much as I would absolutely love to keep everything that we do, the one thing that stands out for me in our work is the join-in programme. This helped children right across the borough from disadvantaged backgrounds to access lots of different activities. These are children who would never ever have had the chance to have a try at fencing, learn to swim, work with clay. There was so much going on in the sports centres, in our play centres. These children had a fantastic time, and it enabled their parents to have a break from the children, and the children learnt new skills. And this was such a popular thing. And when we went around and saw the delight on these children's faces, it made all the work really worthwhile.
My greatest successes, I feel, is a young carers tea party that I set up with the benefit of the disadvantage subsidy. And this was an elite little group of children from the infant school who were selected by teachers and the SENCO to attend a tea party in the children's centre once a week. These children have either siblings or a parent who has additional needs, or they may have undergone some sort of trauma. They're the children whose they don't get a lot of attention at home because their sibling needs more attention, or parents are engaged in other ways, and these children sort of get a bit overlooked. So by coming to the tea party, they have a bit of me time where they have, the club is no larger than 6 people. They have the undivided attention of 2 members of staff. We have tea and toast and biscuits, and they can play with whatever they want to. They can talk about whatever they want to, and they've just made the session their own. And the impact of this has been tremendous. And one parent reported to me that when the club ran on a Friday, it was the only way that her daughter could get through the week. Each day it was one day closer to the tea party on Friday.
One of the most valuable things has been the ES subsidy. We've been able to use that money to provide summer holiday activities for some of our disadvantaged children, and the parents have been very lavish with their praise in how that's benefited them. But also I've been able to use it as a fund to help out families who are in temporary difficulties. And at the moment I'm helping a family who's the family, there's a drug problem in the family, and the child is in a better place when she's at the out of hours school, the out of hours club, and that's working very well.
This is something that we've run over the last few years, but has grown in momentum for the last probably 12 months. We've got lots of schools that are now involved, head teachers, deputy heads and extended schools coordinators that come along. We're now at the exciting time that we're just beginning to get young people coming along to the forums, and hopefully our plans are to progress to have parents come along. We've done a lot of consultation out in the community to find out what strengths and weaknesses are in terms of services for children and families. And the forum has turned out to be a really exciting way for people in the community to come together, network, share information, find out about new services, and we've started to commission services, which is really exciting, with small pots of money to try and make a difference to those families and children in the community.
One of the huge benefits of the locality forums is that it gives the opportunity for a huge range of partners to come together with a common cause. For example, you have the voluntary sector, Home Start, Preschool Learning Alliance, Sutton CVS, Riverside, coming together with the schools. All schools are represented on the forums, along with health, police, the local colleges such as Scola, the Early Intervention Prevention Service and the housing partnerships.
The extended services subsidy in the green area went really well, and this has played out with schools still offering and working together and offering services for one another, which is really great. The standard of our out-of-school clubs in the green area is extremely high, and this was supported by the high SACAs results they got. And from the Children's Centre point of view, our outreach has done really well, and we've engaged lots of parents and children in the last year, lots of them with vulnerable with special needs.
I've been involved with developing children's centres throughout the locality, and I've enjoyed seeing them go from success to success. The strengths are definitely our staff. We've got a fantastic group there that have really made the children's centres part of our local community. I've also been involved in developing the community forum, and this is a collection of professionals and schools, preschools, scouts groups and other children's activity groups that have been involved with us. And out of that forum we have developed a fantastic commissioning body. That commissioning body is now in the process of commissioning services to run throughout the summer of 2011, services for young people who may not be able to access them under usual circumstances. So fingers crossed, our successes will continue, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who's been involved.
Throughout the Extended Schools programme, it was always very important for us as a team to keep all of our partners, providers and stakeholders involved with the project, with what we were doing. This led to the development of the Managed Learning Environment, or also known as the MLE, which is a website system that was rolled out across the London Borough Sutton schools. The system allows the schools to create different rooms around topics and areas that staff, parents and pupils can access via a unique username and password. The Extended Schools project has created 2 of their own rooms within the system. The Extended Schools Community Room provides basic information on children's centres, extended schools and community forums for parents, pupils and staff to access. The second room is an Extended Services Team Room. This allows us to share information and with school staff, children's centre staff and local authority staff.
My role has really been to take extended services into the sustainability phase of development. We had an idea around locality community forums, setting up a partnership of the community really in each locality to look at the risk factors and the resources in each community, and for people to work together towards a common action plan and to commission services to reduce risk and increase protection for children. Risk factors are usually in the 4 domains of a child's life, whether that's family, community, individual or peer group, and not one agency can solve those issues. But by communities coming together and identifying those risks and identifying those resources, they can actually pool their money together and commission meaningful services that make a difference to young people. It feels that everybody is working together towards a common aim now of reducing risks in each locality.
Of course, we will miss all the grants and the subsidies that have been available through the ES subsidy and the Easy Team, but on the other hand, there's been this insistence all along that we should try to make things sustainable, and we think that we have. All of our after-school clubs now pay for themselves. Our extended care actually makes a bit of money for the school, but don't tell everybody that. But the thing that we will miss is the ES subsidy for those vulnerable children. But we're talking about having a hardship fund that we find money for elsewhere. So at least we've had the basis of it. We've been able to start things, and we feel that with a bit of imagination, they will become sustainable, all of them.